All right, guys, happy St. Patrick's Day a week early. Well, we're set 6 days early, but next Sunday night, it will be the day after St. Patrick's Day. So, you know,
Look at you in your glasses.
He just walked in the door. He had no idea that I
did
had
not have
these.
an idea. And you look like a rock star. Like,
I
you look like one of those like
yeah,
rock stars
yeah. Well, happy early St. Patrick's Day. It is Sunday night service with Dani and Dr. Motley, and we are talking. Oh my goodness, we're talking Epstein Barr tonight. Epstein Barr, mono, Epstein Barr, chronic Epstein Barr, reoccurring Epstein Barr, and Bonnie's already on, and Denise. Yay.
Hey, Bonnie. Hi,
you guys hit your heart buttons. Tell us where you're watching from and all of that good stuff tonight. But we're going to get started right into Epstein Barr tonight. And hey, I didn't even have a little.
That's delicious.
It is good. My friend Kelly brought that to me last week.
No, I
don't know if it's good or not.
The glasses are really working for her. I really do enjoy them.
I went to Party City. I don't know why.
I feel like the girl off of there's a Disney movie where the girl's like Irish and she has I don't know what.
Okay, Pippi Longstockings, maybe you look like her a little bit. Okay, guys, we're talking Epstein Barr, so I can't see with these on, so we're gonna take this out. We're not gonna do this the whole thing, but. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I think probably we should take this off as well. Woo! I don't know. That looks a little bit better on.
So great.
But anyway, as you log on, hit your buttons, and we've got comments up there already. Okay. All right. All right, guys. All right, Epstein Barr. I don't know who all has had Epstein Barr or is familiar with Epstein Barr, but I've had mono twice. Okay. Had it in high school and I had it in college, and it's quite interesting. So I did a little bit of research in this book today, The Medical Medium. Well, not today. I mean, through the week. Mm-hmm. And he bases his entire thing off of Epstein Barr, right? He says Epstein Barr is responsible for everything. Doesn't matter what. If you burp sideways, it's because of Epstein Barr. Hurling, snoring over there, farting and burping, it's because of Epstein Barr. So I don't know how much I truly believe, but his research is really pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really is. And his protocols are very comprehensive. So just a few statistics. I'm going to let him really drive this ship tonight because this is his thing. He loves Epstein Barr and he treats a tremendous amount of it. But Epstein Barr is part of the herpes virus, right? It's herpes 4, HSV 4. All right. It's closely related to genital herpes. I didn't know that. Yeah, HSV 2. Yeah. I didn't realize that. It's number 4 on the list of 9 different herpes viruses. And I didn't really know there were 9 different herpes viruses.
I didn't know.
I learned that off of the CDC website today. It's number 4 out of 9 different herpes viruses that can affect humans. Okay. It was discovered, Epstein Barr was discovered in March of 1964 by Anthony Epstein, Yvonne Barr, and Bert Akong. They were doctors. I don't know what happened to Akon. He didn't get in this, but I would be a little upset about that, right? And it's interesting. They had discovered that the first human virus that can cause cancer, which later came to bear both of their names, the Epstein-Barr virus.
Wow.
It's interesting. Wow. It was a lymphoma. It stemmed from discovering about Burkitt's lymphoma.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. All right. After the initial infection, so your primary infection, right, which many times happens when we're teenagers and in college, mm-hmm. correct? Mm-hmm. The mono. After initial infection, it lies dormant in your tissues for years, right? Or decades. Can lay in there for decades, definitely. Right? Or and for sure indefinitely, right? But it can reactivate in the immune system when the immune system becomes depressed. And I think that's a big thing here. It's going to be in there. Once you get it, it's like herpes. It's like the chickenpox virus. It never leaves your system. Mm-hmm. But as your immune system depletes and gets run down, mm-hmm. there's where we create the problems, right?
Yeah. Like as much as we all want to say that we want to get rid of every infection to the fullest extent, and people will come and ask you, do you ever fully get rid of this infection? I think if you've had it pretty badly, you're probably always going to have some present in your body. You
Yes.
just want to have an immune system that's activated enough to attack
it. That's exactly right. Do you know that? Okay, so once you have it, you're going to carry it in your tissues forever, right? It's one of the most common human viruses out there. It causes mononucleosis, right? Epstein Barr causes mono, right? Mm-hmm. It's found all over the world, right? It's estimated that over 225 million Americans have some form of Epstein Barr.
Wow.
225 million.
I did not know that.
90% of the population have an Epstein Barr, have some sort of Epstein Barr virus.
I believe that.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing how many.
Most people get infected at some point in their lives. 90% of all people get infected at some point in their lives. It spreads commonly, and we know this, through body fluids, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Primarily through saliva, but you can give it as well. You know, a mom can transfer it to their baby. You can through sex, mm-hmm. through kissing, through any drug use, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. It can reactivate at any point and lead to chronic Epstein Barr, which is what you deal with a lot, yes, right? In the liver and the kidneys. All right. He says, Anthony Williams says that there are over 60 varieties of Epstein Barr. He believes, and he has chapter after chapter after chapter in this book, that it is the root cause of diseases like lupus. I have lupus, mm-hmm. right? Lupus, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, any of your autoimmune diseases. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, vertigo, tinnitus, ringing in the ears. I mean, he believes that it's a root of all of that as it burrows down in there and gets chronic. He says, you know, a healthy immune system can fight this off oftentimes, but you've got all these stealth viruses in there. Epstein Barr, cytomegalovirus, HHV7, Borrelia, Bartonella, Mycoplasma, Chlamydia, all of these, you know, viruses that when your immune system is down is when they take hold, right? But if you have a robust, healthy immune system, they don't take over.
That's right. That's right. And when she says chlamydia, it doesn't always mean the sexually
chlamydia pneumonia,
like pneumonia, though if you've had pneumonia. So we're just
clarify that. Well, you know, what are the symptoms of Epstein Barr, right? Okay, as you guys are logging on out there, make sure you, tell us where you're from, Nashville and Spring Hill and Birmingham. All right, Denise, tell us where you guys are from and make sure you hit your like buttons and your heart buttons so we know you're still on here tonight, right? Symptoms, fatigue, lethargy, you know, just exhausted, headaches, rashes, abdominal pain from enlarged liver or enlarged spleen, right? Yeah. Swollen lymph nodes, that's huge, especially mainly up here, lots of swollen lymph nodes, rashes, things like that. Those are symptoms. Well, how many people have that? How many people have swollen lymph nodes, fatigue, a rash, a headache,
abdominal pain?
Oh, for crying
Everybody
out loud,
has those
right?
things.
I know, right?
Oh,
okay, and we talked a little bit about how you transmit it. Now, this was something that I read on the CDC's website. You know, do you know what it can spread from a blood transfusion?
Definitely.
They don't screen for it, which is not something I've really ever thought about. They don't screen for it. So if you get a blood transfusion, you could get chronic Epstein Barr.
I would even suspect I would think that even like Epstein Barr or Lyme or some infection that gets in the blood.
Yes.
I don't see why it would not infect you if you got a transfusion for that. Not just, you know, get anybody scared or thinking about too much, but yes, it could go because it's that small.
You know, and they say on the CDC website, diagnosing it is so complicated. Well, I don't think it's so complicated. You check the titers and there you have it, right?
Yeah, get a VCA,
it's complicated because it has all these symptoms that seem like, you know, everybody has the same thing. But I check the titers, and it's funny because I was reviewing labs this afternoon and on a patient that I'm going to see this week, and she's got mono. She's got Epstein Barr. She does not have a new infection, but she has. We're sitting here looking at it. She has and I ripped it off. If you want to show, they can't tell who that is. So let's double check that. Yeah, you can't tell who that is. But I don't know if you can see that or not. Wrong. There we go. The top, she is negative. She does not have a new infection, right? But she definitely has an EBNA there. Yeah, and an IgG that's positive.
Good gracious.
Yeah, she sure does. So she has an infection that is just recently converted over, right? to an older infection, and then she has an older infection. So does this look like something maybe that's reactive?
Yes.
Reactivated?
Reactivated. I would think it's just that the new crew comes in with the old crew and makes a telephone call, because if you have a virus that may be morphed, I would think they had the same resonance, the same frequency, the same sound or tone. And so remember, things that are alike and vibrate, they create more sound. And so you put that in the body, you get a new infection, it calls the other ones out.
True.
That's true, yeah.
And it's funny because I have a lot of patients who have a negative monospot test, and the CDC, this is on the CDC's website, and this is word for word. The monospot test is not recommended for general use.
Oh, wow.
Do you know how many pediatricians do a monospot on patients and these kids, and it's negative?
Wow.
The antibodies detected by the monospot can be caused by conditions other than infectious mononucleosis. Studies have shown that the monospot produces both false positive and false negative results.
What they're using.
This is off of the CDC's website telling us.
Are they using I mean, we don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder what they're using on the spot test. If you guys want to research that, what would they use on the spot test to give them the indication? I need to look into that.
It says, at best, the monospot test may indicate that a person has a typical case of infectious mononucleosis, but it does not confirm the presence of Epstein Barr virus. I mean, this came straight off of there.
Exactly, because we had a question before about the difference between mono and Epstein Barr. What Dani is saying, that Epstein Barr can cause mono, and mono is the swollen lymph nodes, the swollen liver, and the swollen spleen. And other infections like the cytomegalo that she's talking about, even adenoviruses and certain parasites will cause mononucleosis as well, along with Epstein Barr. So that's why you may have a false negative with that. So
isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
So Anthony Williams says there's 4 stages of mono.
Ooh, okay.
Right? Did you know this? Because I wasn't taught this in school. Epstein Barr, there's 4 stages, and Epstein Barr is not contagious all the time. It's most likely to spread during stage 2, he says.
Okay.
So there's stage 1. This is when you get infected initially. Could be from whatever reason.
Okay.
Right? Kissing, blood, what have you. Right? This is the stage where the Epstein Barr virus replicates itself, right? It makes multiple versions of itself in there and is very patient. Epstein Barr, and he talks about this in the book over and over and over, it is patient. It will wait sometimes for decades before it turns around and decides, I'm going to get a hold of you, right?
So
it's burrowed down in there. Those little spirochetes like Lyme disease, right? They said, so it'll wait for decades. It's very, very patient before it rears its ugly head, right? This stage can take weeks, months, or years, right? Okay. It's generally undetectable during this time. Periods of major hormonal shifts activate this stage, activate stage 1. Puberty, right? Okay. Pregnancy, and menopause.
Oh, wow.
Great. Wow. Can be triggers to ramp up stage 1. Okay. Oh. Then we get into stage 2. This is when Epstein Barr turns into mononucleosis. Okay. It's the time when the virus is most contagious, right? This is the stage when your immune system is on defense, right? These are you when you're just exhausted, you're worn down, and and now it's taken advantage of your weak system. This is the sore throat, swollen lymph nodes, fatigue, fever, headaches, spleen, and liver pain stage, right? It says streptococcus is Epstein Barr's #1 cofactor, is what he says. Wow. Now you can speak more to that than I can.
Yeah.
Right? That's stage 2. And then stage 3, this is when Epstein Barr, he says, settles into the liver and the spleen and many other organs. Stage 3. Now we're getting serious. This is the stage that looks like a past infection on to providers off of the lab work, right? So where they say past infection, there's nothing going on active. He says this is the stage when providers make the biggest mistake. They say, there's nothing going on. You've had a past infection, but you don't have anything right now.
Gotcha.
Right? When it actually you do. They don't realize that this stage is actually very active in a patient's body, right? And it may have taken decades to make its presence known again, right? This is the stage where he says lupus is diagnosed, right? He believes that lupus is, simply a viral infection gone haywire of Epstein Barr. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But I mean, I have lupus and I've had Epstein Barr. I've had mono Epstein Barr twice.
Yeah.
So Who knows?
You know, it's true. I mean, you never know how bad those things have gotten into the system when you're a younger person, if they replicated and continues to drain your energy in your cells.
And then we get into stage 4.
What?
And he says he considers this stage a major source of mystery illness that our patients struggle with. Mm-hmm. These are the patients that are struggling with joint pain, nerve pain, trigger point pain, back pain, tingling, numbness, vertigo, tinnitus in the ear, numbness in the hands and feet, migraines, ongoing fatigue. This is where your fibromyalgia, your rheumatoid arthritis, right? Yep. Your chronic fatigue syndrome diagnoses are made.
Yep.
Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Right. Once it gets to stage 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I loved the way he broke it down. Mm-hmm. Right?
I love it. It is true how we'll keep going.
No, that's it, because I was going to let you go over. I was just, we talk about healing foods and healing supplements and things, but you've got a lot to say about Epstein Barr.
I was in the office with Epstein Barr. The most things that I do see how it presents itself is just how the book many times says. Many people come in with a Lyme disease infection, or they come in with chronic fatigue. The two biggest things, if you guys are out there and you come in with chronic fatigue, you're always tired, or 2, you've always have sleep problems. Those are the biggest indicators to me now about Epstein Barr virus. Let's start off with sleep. I know we'll get into chronic fatigue, but you'll see how it makes sense. Sleep, and many times the thing with Epstein Barr virus is that, as she was talking about how infective it is and how small it is, if it gets into your liver and into your spleen to cause mono, by that time it's already replicated, because a virus, when it gets into your cell, basically is invited into the cell. Your cell takes the virus, the virus tricks your body into taking their DNA or their RNA, putting it into your DNA, and then you make more copies of it, and then it goes back out. And then you release probably, hundreds of thousands to a million more viruses, and they go off and infect more cells. So you keep replicating it as yourself. And so the body doesn't see it as an enemy, because it sees it as yourself, because it's actually intertwined. Now, to repeat, Dani, when the immune system gets lower, that's when it starts to express itself. So when I see this, it's really when people have come into us that they're already completely tired and they can't sleep. And I have found, for instance, I've had 3 Lyme patients recently, and I started treating them for Lyme symptoms. And they will do really well, and they're starting to get rid of Lyme or Babesia or Ehrlichia, if you guys read anything about Lyme infection. And then towards the end, not towards the end, towards the middle of their treatments, they'll usually show in biofeedback, they'll show that allergic reactions. They'll have like runny nose, or they'll have hot head, their head gets really hot, or they'll have a
hot head. I know all about that.
Have really bad lung infections.
And
you'll find out that their allergy symptoms are coming from Epstein Barr viral indicators. And I will have to say that sometimes when I start off, I'll get to a point where I thought Epstein Barr probably caused most of this infectious agents, where it depleted their immune system so bad that when they did get a Lyme infection, the Lyme infection went rampant because it already was weakened by the time from all the Epstein Barr virus. Point in case, we had one lady that came into the office the other day and had hot head, seen her for 2 years ago, and she had most of her symptoms were gone away. So she felt like she was in the clear. So when she came in, she said some heat in her head, and she said, I'm having a little bit of the symptoms reoccur from what we had before. And I said, okay, well, let's see what we got. So we did some biofeedback, some kinesiology testing. I found rickettsia, and rickettsia is a parasite like Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Yes.
And that will give you high joint pain and fever. And then upon checking her further, it went down to the ovaries, and so the ovaries showed up, and from trigger point therapy, and we find out if the ovaries have something to do with the infections, and come to find out she balanced out whenever I checked Epstein Barr bile on her. So she must have had some form of Epstein Barr still in the body, and cytomegalovirus still affecting the ovaries that was stressing her thyroid. I hope you guys understand that. So anytime you have a virus that was in the body, to make this story complete, she had a virus in the body that drained her thyroid, and then the rickettsia that may have been lurking around that can still be in her blood, that was okay. It's like, you may have a little bit of rickettsia, but your immune system's high enough to take care of it. That rolls around. But that when she may have had some hormonal changes because of the ovaries, maybe in a cycle or absence of a cycle, then that rickettsia shot up because she'd had the Epstein Barr in there. So I always suggest to the patient, go get the VCA, go get a viral capsid antigen test to go see if you have high amounts of the virus running around, because viruses are completely not understood, they say, by the medical community. Another patient came in, I'll tell you this story too, had a gentleman and had some issues with strength in the lower body. And he told me a really interesting thought. He said he went to his neurologist, and from our testing, we found out that he had forms of cytomegalovirus, and there is a cytomegalobacteria. Because what happens with virus, and side note, viruses can morph. They know their host. They take your DNA sequence. Like if the virus infected me and infected Dani, Dani has different DNA than I do. I have different DNA. They can transcript into different DNA and make themselves different forms. That's why there's 60 different forms of Epstein Barr. Well, back to the story. The guy came in, has weak lower legs, goes to his neurologist, and he said, Doc, he was leaving because we found flu virus and some Epstein Barr and some cytomegalo. And he goes, do you think a virus could cause all this? And I would suspect, most Western medicine neurologists would be like, no, what he, and the gentleman turned around, the doctor said, he goes, you know what? Viruses are the least understood infection in our work in neurology. He goes, viruses can cause autoimmune.
Yep.
They can cause what you have. He says, we just don't know enough about them because viruses are smart. And in the book, they talk about when you get a virus, viruses can communicate long distances within the body. And when I say that is that when we tell you about a supplement to take or start to get rid of them, viruses know when you're going to take a supplement. That's why when they come into the office, you guys will see Dani or see me and they'll go, I was feeling really good until I came to see you. I started feeling really bad today. You know why? Because we're going to tell you or give you something that's going to go after the critters.
Yeah.
And the critters know.
Yeah, they
sure
do.
But, and so we've had viruses. In my realm, there are three main things that I would suggest that you guys look into taking if you had Epstein Barr virus. The first thing is Chinese Coptis.
Okay.
Chinese Coptis is the number one thing I use. In my office, we call it Golden Thread, and there's a supplement called Golden Thread Supreme, and it's by a group called Supreme Nutrition Products. It's really great. It will kill, it will get rid of a lot of the symptoms of Epstein Barr. And there's another one called Chrysanthemum mortifolia. Chrysanthemum mortifolia. It's called Vital Guard, and I use that as a chrysanthemum. It will actually clean up a lot of Epstein Barr signals. And the third thing would be a mixture of vitamin D with, vitamin D and K with a mixture of lysine.
Yeah.
And those will help clean up a lot of your Epstein Barr.
Yeah, I use a lot of lysine.
A lot of lysine.
I use a whole lot of lysine with Epstein Barr. I like theirs. Yeah, we've got a ton of questions on there, but I'm going to talk about a little bit what he says and what I use in the office as well for Epstein Barr for you guys. I use a lot of colloidal silver, and he recommends colloidal silver as well, because what it does is it lowers the Epstein Barr viral load.
Yep.
But colloidal silver does, it's an antiviral and it's an antibacterial, and I use this stuff like crazy during the fall and winter for sure.
Yes.
But I use Argentine 23. There are other ones out there. I know this one works beautifully, and that's the one that I use in the office. And then Hawaiian spirulina. And let me talk to you about spirulina. We prefer it from Hawaii. It's supposedly cleaner. But Hawaiian spirulina does multiple things. It also gets rid of heavy metals in your body, and it rebuilds the central nervous system.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it helps rebuild that immune system as well. I love spirulina. I've used this one since I was at Dr. Kalb's office 9 years ago. This is a good one. The one from Pacifica or whatever it's called.
You sent some patients with that on. It really works really well. It's strong too.
Yeah, it is strong. You take
strong.
6 of these a day, actually. Yeah, it's really strong. And then lemon balm. I use a lot of lemon balm, right? Because it's an antiviral, it's an antibacterial. And I use lemon balm with herpes, with HSV1 and HSV2. It's protective against that. So clearly then, since this is a herpes virus, it will work against that. But it kills Epstein Barr cells and strengthens the immune system. Yeah, I love lemon balm, but also helps you rest at night, and it helps you sleep, and it calms you down. Helps with herpes. It helps with Epstein Barr. Good Lord, who wouldn't want lemon balm?
No, who wouldn't?
Tell me about Harlan over there. He's snoring. I apologize, guys. Monolaurin. Do you use Monolaurin?
I do.
I love this, and this is one of his. This is one of his as well. In fact, I found out about using this through him a few years ago. It's an antiviral.
Yeah.
So it helps break down the Epstein Barr viral load, right? And reduces those cofactors that we were talking about, right? It helps with boosting the immune system. It helps with yeast in your stomach. It helps build your immune system in your stomach.
I know it helps that. That's
yes,
good.
it does.
Wow.
Yes, it does. Yeah, these are, I love this. And they're little bitty tiny coconut pellets, right? So it's medium chain triglycerides, right? And they are fantastic. I mean, I use this all during the wintertime with my patients, but especially if they have an Epstein-Barr virus. It's monolaurin, spirulina, lysine, vitamin C, high dose vitamin C, and I mean high dose vitamin C, colloidal silver, and lemon balm. That is a big protocol. And I do that for at least 3 months. Now, there's a whole bunch other ones that he puts on here, like selenium and zinc and all that. But what I really try to do is get patients like something like a really good multivitamin that's got all of that in it, like a Phyto Multi or whatever they want to use to try to take care of that. Because this is a lot. This is a big protocol.
It is a big
colloidal
protocol.
silver, lemon balm, lysine, vitamin C, monolaurin, spirulina. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is.
It is a lot, but I'm telling you, it works.
It works.
And it helps to rebuild that immune system. And once your immune system is able to fight again, then your levels start to go down and you start to feel better.
It is. Remember, viruses are good at mimicry.
Yes.
And we'll get to these questions. I'll start these
questions.
There's
a bunch of questions.
They're very good at mimicry. So I want you guys to be encouraged because viruses, they try to mimic you. And the reason, like, you'll take a monolaurin or something like that, like an enzymatic effect, like an acid, it will actually tear the protein coats off the virus because the viruses, remember, they encode it into your body. So they take your signals, surround themselves with your overcoat, and then what we're trying to do is uncover it so your immune system sees it as the enemy and kills it. What we have, what is the difference between, by Tina, reactivated EBV and mono? Are you contagious with reactivated EBV? Is your spleen at risk with reactivated EBV?
Okay, good question, Tina.
Well, the difference between reactivated EBV and mono is a condition created by Epstein Barr. So you can get mono from Epstein Barr, and we could talk about cytomegalovirus. They say Giardia lamblia can actually cause this too, and adenoviruses. So adenoviruses are very common with children. Liquid. When you exchange fluids, like when kids are small, they get adenovirus or cytomegalo. And those can cause mono. And mono, remember, is the enlargement of the spleen and the liver because your liver and spleen are actively trying to clean your blood and your body of this virus. That's why they swell. And
they're working overtime.
And you'll produce high amounts of white blood cells to help kill these things off. And that's where you get into the danger of having lymphomas, when you'll have those Burkitt's lymphomas because your body creates high amounts of white blood cells to kill these hidden infections. Now, reactivated Epstein-Barr virus, that's the difference. Remember, reactivated means the Epstein-Barr was in your body. It hid. Your body may not know it's there because your body, there's a two-way street, I believe. I believe that you are actively fought it off when you first got it, like when you're a teenager or something of the sort. And your body goes, well, I've got enough energy to keep it at bay. And then it goes off and burrows somewhere else, and then it hides for a while. And then your body goes, it's not a threat.
Right.
So it stays, your levels go back to normal while it's there the whole time. So that's the difference, because if we're just saying Epstein-Barr is the cause, mono is the result. And you say, are you contagious to reactivated Epstein-Barr virus? I don't see why not. I've seen people personally come in that have reactivated, and I've seen people, their kids and their spouses have it. I can't say they gave it to them, but I have seen people around them get infected. And it's a virus. If it's reactivated, it's running around your blood.
That's right.
Is your spleen at risk with reactivated Epstein-Barr? If you've already had it, it's already infected your spleen, and that's not to be harsh. It's already been in there hurting the spleen. And the spleen, that's the reason Dani and I talked about you staying up at night and going to sleep, because at night your gallbladder and your liver your blood's running through those organs, and you're trying to filter that junk out. And if a virus is there, your liver's trying to clean it out and calling your immune system to come get it, and you'll wake up. You won't go back to sleep because your liver's like, something's going on in here. That's why it's hard to stay asleep. What is the relationship between EBV and Hashimoto? Right.
Bonnie. Do you have Hashimoto's? Bonnie and I graduated high school together. She lives down in Florida, I think. So Epstein-Barr, okay, doctor, or not, he's not a doctor, daggone it. Anthony Williams says that it can be one of the major triggers of Hashimoto's. Now, I can't say that it causes Hashimoto's. He says it. He flat out says it. It causes lupus. It causes this. It causes that. I'm sorry. We don't have any clear-cut evidence on that. But it is a virus. It creates inflammation. What is Hashimoto's thyroiditis? It is inflammation. Itis means inflammation. So is there a connection between it? Yes, I believe there is. Because if your immune system is chronically on fire, right, from whatever, from rheumatoid arthritis, all these things, I believe that there's a big connection with it. But I don't know for sure the true parallel relationship. I don't know for sure, 90% of the population apparently have Epstein Barr.
I do. And what if the fact that when we see people with Hashimoto's, their system's already suppressed in that manner, like their immune's already suppressed, and if they already have Epstein Barr, usually these individuals come in the office and they'd have higher amounts or higher loads of Epstein Barr than the normal patient. Like we share patients and they'll look really good for a good while, and all of a sudden their immune system actually starts to work better. Their thyroid start to kick on, and then what it tells the body is this: I'm working better. I have more chi, more energy. I'm going to go and kill everything that's not me. Like your recognition gets a little bit better. And then they'll say, I feel worse. And I'm like, it's not that you're actually worse. It's like you're actually getting better, but you're going to fight off more stuff. That's hard to explain, to comprehend, but it is true. So Hashimoto's, in my opinion, people I've checked literally do have allergic symptoms, which goes to another point. Some people may not have high amounts running around their blood, but I believe they have reactions to the toxins that Epstein Barr give off into the blood. So you may not find a high amount in the blood of the biocapsids or the protein coat. So I had it about 2 years ago. There was another one in here. Okay, will a Rife machine help with Epstein Barr?
Ooh.
Yeah, Rife machines will help. And I will tell you a quick story why, and stop me if I get too wordy. Royal Rife was the guy who created the Rife machine. If you're out there, Anne wrote this. And what he found out is when he adjusted, he found out he had a microscope, and he could see viruses because it was a high-powered quartz microscope. It wasn't electronic, it was quartz. The guy made a big microscope out of quartz crystals, so good that he could see viruses. And when he saw the virus, he saw that each one had particular colors, and that with bacteria and parasites. So he took a color generator, and he would adjust the color on the virus to match the same color as the virus. And when it did find the resonant frequency, the same color, it would split the virus open. So if you have a Rife machine, and it has a good Epstein Barr setting, it will kill it. But I will recommend that you don't go full out on a Rife machine at the beginning. Do it at a slow setting. Maybe if it says do it for 20 minutes on the Rife machine, do it for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Do not go all out.
Okay. All right.
What recommendation?
I will write those, Laura. I will write those dosages on this for you instead of going over those one by one.
Okay.
Okay.
High dose vitamin C. You're talking about IV?
You bet. Absolutely. High dose vitamin C. And I'm talking 200 grams of, lots. In fact, where did I read that today? I read that on somebody's website there, that they had done like 100 to 200 grams of high dose vitamin C for like 3 days, 3 days only. And their symptoms were just nearly gone.
I love
Pretty
it.
much gone.
I love
high dose vitamin C, man, I am a huge fan of vitamin C. And if you're going to do it orally, you've got to do it until bowel tolerance, right?
That's right.
And if that's 2,000 milligrams, 6,000, 10,000, whatever, however many milligrams, you do it until you poop. And then once you have diarrhea, you need to back off a little bit until you find your sweet spot. But you are not going to overdose on vitamin C. It's one of my all-time favorites. If I had cancer, I would be high dose vitamin C in it somewhere all the time. I'd have an IV sitting right here doing this.
Yes, and it says some people say they feel better, others say it does nothing.
Yeah, well, it's not going to not do nothing, because vitamin C is one of the greatest antioxidants out there that's going to mop up free radicals. So they may not feel anything, but I'm telling you right now, we don't make vitamin C. Remember, I can't remember when we talked about that, but we store it in our adrenal glands. So think about the whole connection between your adrenals, your immune system being shot, your adrenals being depleted. And then, you don't have vitamin C. You get sick quicker than others. You stay sick quicker than others. You pick up everything, so you may not feel better, but I believe you haven't used it enough then, because you will feel better when you get that vitamin C in your body. I take a crap ton of vitamin C every single day. I mean, I do. I don't poop my pants anymore, but I take a ton of vitamin C.
Crap ton.
Good crap ton.
I always compare it to a tree. If you had a really sick tree out in your yard and you gave it tons of fertilizer, but how sick the tree is means it may absorb tons more fertilizer than the good tree. And it may take a long time for that tree to actually grow because it's so sick. If you're very sick and you need a lot of vitamin C and you keep taking it, you may not see the result in 1 or 2 days. You may need it for 6 months to a year. I mean, that's the truth. And you got to get, that's where the grace for yourself, like you realize, like depending on how high my system is showing Epstein Barr, tells me how much I need to take.
We're going to talk about grace at the end of this. But while you're looking through that, so, we know what supplements, because we went over what supplements to take, but what kind of foods do you eat? Well, to me, this is common sense. I mean, you eat a clean, real, one ingredient healing food diet. Well, what are your healing foods, right? Wild blueberries, celery, asparagus, spinach, cilantro, parsley, coconut oil, garlic, ginger, raspberries, papaya, apricots, pomegranates, grapefruit, kale, sweet potatoes, unless you're on the keto diet, which I learned all about this weekend, cucumbers, fennel, all of these. What do these have in common right here? What do these have in common? I mean, these are all high antioxidant, phytonutrient foods, right? Yes. I mean, they are high in colors. They are orange, green, yellow, purple, red, tan, blue, white. I mean, you need high antioxidant foods.
You need high antioxidant foods. And when we said high vitamin C, remember, when you have Epstein Barr running around in your system, your body's trying to kill it. It will create its own oxygen, like hydrogen peroxide, and your body produces it. Superoxide, you have these nice little pinballs trying to kill that virus, and your body if it has a lot of virus, it's going to produce a lot of that. So that's why your body wants antioxidants, because too many pinballs running around creates too much heat. You'll get fevers, you'll get sick, that's why people with Epstein Barr virus feel like their brain's on fire, or they feel like they're completely lethargic. That's why those foods are so good, because they just absorb all that extra stuff. So kill the stuff and then absorb all That's
exactly right. Food does. We got to get the liver working, because the liver is your major detoxifying organ, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty much everything you eat and you take in is metabolized through the liver. So we got to get that liver working.
Rebecca said, I had some Hashimoto's symptoms like being cold, tired, depression, but got a colitis infection, and it kicked me into full-on hypothyroid. Thought I was dying for a year until I got diagnosed. Oh, wow. Girl. I am sorry, Rebecca. Yeah, I see a lot of stuff like this in the office, and you do too. That's tough stuff right there. Hey, Dr. Winters is watching from Paducah, Kentucky. I go Winters.
Yeah, he's a chiropractor in Paducah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, the thing about Epstein, what else do you have to say about Epstein Barr?
Epstein Barr, point in case, my mother, she had the flu virus that went around. And I found signals of Epstein Barr in her, and about the cold hands and feet. Remember, if you're having cold hands and feet from Hashimoto's, what it's saying, from the Epstein Barr, it's saying that it just attacked your thyroid. Anytime we're talking about you getting rid of Epstein Barr or getting rid of cytomegalo or getting rid of parasites, the number one thing you have to do is get your thyroid turned on, your adrenals, and your ovaries if you're a woman, your testes as a man. Get this. My mom went and got a thermal scan, and she'd been having weakness in her legs after the flu. Weakness down her arm, and you think, did she have a stroke? Her blood was fine, oxygen levels were fine, heart was fine. But on the thermogram, it showed that where she'd been draining, her neck, her C7 was completely on fire. And they said these heat signals down the spine was showing that she had Epstein Barr, a viral infection. Wow. So I checked her with my checking and my biofeedback, and I found indications of Epstein Barr still floating around. But her hands were completely cold, and they said on the thermogram that her thyroid was completely cold. There was no heat coming out of it. So if you're having cold hands and feet, that's the number one signal for any of you guys out there that they think, remember, it could be Epstein Barr, but remember, you have to get your thyroid turned on. That's number one.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, let me see.
Well, the bottom line is the majority of us are infected with Epstein Barr when we're young, when we're teenagers, when we're college kids, and we're going balls to the wall 90 miles an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I know, I did it. That's how I did it in college. That's how I did it in high school. I never stopped. I mean, you think I have energy now? You should have seen me in high school,
are you kidding
in college.
Yes.
And I ended up going on Homebound. That's when they did, I don't know if they still do Homebound and all. It was my junior year in high school. And so we get it then, but our immune systems are healthy. Now, I don't know how my immune system was healthy because I ate Captain Crunch, Pop-Tarts, frozen pizzas, Sonic Drive-In, Pizza Hut, breadsticks, and that, oh my gosh, I could eat a whole thing of that right now with that sauce.
Lord.
And so, but we're young, and there's something to be said for your age, right?
Yeah.
So you're young, you get it then, you recover, but then we go through decades and decades of dysfunction, right? Of not taking care of ourselves, of picking up other viruses, of eating bad food, of having babies, of being in a bad marriage, good marriage, what have you, deaths, pregnancy, all these things that wear down the immune system and wear us down, right? And then we get some shifts. And then ... anything could happen. Fatigue, depression, weight gain, foggy head, all these things start to happen, joint pain, and then it rears its ugly head. It's fascinating to me. And the bottom line it's fascinating to you all too, clearly. The bottom line is, man, we've got to get our immune system built back up.
That's true.
Right? And how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, what?
You've got to build up your vitamin D levels and vitamin K levels because you have to get, go ahead. You have to build up vitamin D, A, K, and E. You've got to get those receptor sites on your cells healthy. And Epstein Barr is very bad about killing the vitamin D receptors on your cells. And so your body will absorb vitamin D on the cell, and it will be pulled in by a vitamin A retinol vitamin on the inside of your nucleus, and then it takes the vitamin D and puts it into your mitochondria to make energy. And the Jesse and Rebecca, you talked about getting mono, and they said you had it when you're young, but you still feel fatigued and tired. You never get rid of it.
Right.
Go ahead. I like it. Go ahead.
Because we don't take care of ourselves, people. I'm telling you right now. Why do we go 24? How in the hell can you ever expect to feel better, Chris? And I'm to blame for this too. How can you ever expect to feel better if you don't slow down?
Exactly.
If you don't honor your body, if you don't say, well, crap, I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
How can you ever get better if you don't set boundaries and you cut the soul suckers out of your life, right? And you cut the things out that are causing you stress, and you come home and you eat healthy food and you go for exercise, you do whatever, and then you go to bed. I mean, how are you? You're never going to recover your body if you're living in a constant state of negative energy and depletion. You're not going to.
Yeah.
This takes you setting boundaries. This takes you learning to say no, learning to come home and go to bed, learning to rest in the fall and winter. And we're supposed to start emerging now.
Yeah.
You have to eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, and have community. We are never going to get better if you don't take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Our bodies are designed to heal themselves, but you have to give it what it needs.
You do.
Period. You can take all these damn vitamins. I'm sorry, I'm on a roll to all these vitamins in the world right here, but they don't do anything if you don't eat well and move well and heal when you sleep and decrease the stress in your life. It does no good whatsoever. You're going to keep this chronic Epstein Barr stirred up in your body until the day you die, and you're going to identify as your disease.
I agree. I
mean, it's just true. And I mean, I know I've lived through this. I have worked myself to the bone. I have worked myself into exhaustion. And, that's my fault. That's my fault.
I think viruses are so smart that when we live this life without boundaries, it's just like me seeing Dani or Dani watching me, knowing that they know my habits or I know her habits. You know that most parasites, and Jesse, you were talking about like you had a brain tumor before, people who said you've had mono since you're young. They know your habits, and they know like how you eat and how you sleep.
Smart.
They do, and they know when you're more susceptible to be infected, and they work off that.
That's when they attack.
They do know that, and taking care of yourself with like your immune function getting higher. The main thing I always recommend to individuals is, as we get older, we can't. I hope this answers some of your questions as well. as you get older, we can't absorb as well as we did, only because we didn't live well when we were younger. So when I tell a patient this, I make a suggestion. You can go get a genetic test, and there's some that we can recommend that help you find your genetic SNPs. The hard part is this. If I found out, like, for example, me, I have a variant, I have a mutation in one of my D receptors, and I have an MTHFR. I have a few different types of genetic variants or mutations. I know it's a constant avenue of me having to go take care of myself. When I see that I can't absorb vitamin D very well, and you say, what should I take for this if I had Epstein Barr? I get those tested and say, okay, I can't absorb D. So that means my immune's automatically going to be low in my life because my genes are set. But if I keep a good source of vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin A, you can find supplements that have them all in one. But it's a constant visual. I always say, go to docs, go to people that work like we do in natural health and get it monitored. That's what I would suggest. Get your vitamin D's checked by people who do like kinesiology, who do blood work. Jesse, you went to see Coach and Noah, Dr. Moose, and you say, what should you do for it? Those are the things I would say is find out what your genetics are saying about you, find out what stress you have in your life, and then find out your habits, but get a genetic test and then find out like how much D you're deficient in, or find out if you don't absorb vitamin D very well, or if you don't make homocysteine very well, or glutathione. If you don't make those, glutathione, and you don't get rid of homocysteine very well, you don't receive your vitamin D, you're going to feel sick all the time. I hope that helps all of you guys
Bet
out.
You are.
So find out, because it's a constant thing to take care of yourself now. You got to take good food, you got to drink clean water. And honestly, we've seen patients that do that actual 40-50% of their stuff goes away.
You bet it does. Well, it's a virus, and you have to treat it like the virus it is. It's like HPV, right? It's a virus. If you got the flu virus or a cold, hopefully you'd lay down and rest, right? And do the things that you need to do to re-nourish your body. I mean, Epstein Barr, mono's the same thing, but yet we just barrel right through with it. Yeah, I've got Epstein Barr. Well, okay, that's great. You need to be resting. You need to set some time, a month, 2 months, or whatever it is you need to do until you feel better. And the thing is, we start to feel better, just like when I'm working on patients' adrenals. They start to feel better. I get this whole protocol with them and all this, and then they do too much. And then they set themselves back again, right?
Wow,
because
exactly
as soon as you start to feel
better,
good,
you want to
after
go
you
fast.
felt poorly for so many years, you have to really honor. It takes years and decades of dysfunction to get into this situation. It's going to take more than 4 weeks to get out of this, or 6 weeks, or maybe even 6 months or a year, to pull yourself out. But the goal is you look back in 6 months, 9 months, a year, and you say, holy cow, I am no way near where I used to be. I'm so much better than I used to be. Not where I need to be, but I am on my way, and I'm having more good days than bad days.
Exactly.
That's the goal.
Yes.
But it takes consistency with your supplements, consistency learning to say no, consistency with your diet. Do you know how difficult that is? To constantly eat well and to be the fruitcake at the family dinner, or whatever, the one who she's not going to eat that. Here's a piece of celery. I mean, we can eat. I mean, so it takes consistency.
It does.
Consistency. It's been 48 minutes. By the way.
I will tell you the 3 questions. I would say, if I have 3 steps, Stephanie and Jesse, I would say the 3-step, and Rebecca. For me, I would suggest that you find a good genetic test that would tell you like MTHFR, vitamin D receptor, and glutathione receptors. So you can research those. There's good Dr. J. Dunn, J.Dunn. You can find out on the websites from holistickinesiology.com. They can give you some good ideas on good genetic tests. And then go to get your blood monitored by somebody who's an expert. And then when you find those out, you're going to find out if you're genetically deficient in these things. I tell you, that's the first step to do that. And then find a good kinesiology doc that could actually monitor and then get your blood tested progressively. That's what I would do. That's the first thing I would suggest to do. And again, when you feel better, I would say when people as you feel better, Jesse or Rebecca, as you get going, the one thing you do want to do is get going when you feel a little bit better, but that should train you to say, when I feel better, you should slow down even more. Like you should rest, because your thyroid, with this other question, she said, I finally had Hashimoto's hit me after I had Epstein Barr for so long. Do you think how long your thyroid worked to get rid of that virus or to keep it at bay. Your thyroid tells your adrenals something's wrong. Keep producing cortisol and adrenaline.
Yes.
And then it gets tired. And then if you're a woman, it says, ovaries, I need some more hormones. So it robs your ovaries. And your thyroid finally just gets kaput and it's done.
Yep. It's the master gland. So, it's the master gland.
But it can be helped. Because that's what I'm telling you, like with sleep and such. And somebody just called, Keith Coley said, I hadn't seen Jesus today until now. Nice to see you, Chris Jesus.
Sweet. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He does look like Jesus. Your hair looks good today, by the way.
Oh, and Kelly wanted. I'm sorry. Okay, well, we gotta go.
We gotta go. Okay,
so
we will answer your questions on here. I know it's already been 50 minutes. It goes by in a hurry, and people say you don't watch after 20 minutes, but I think you guys do watch after 20 minutes. So
we'll answer some of these on.
We'll answer them, but a little bit about what's
going on with you.
Oh my gosh.
I love hearing this part.
So I went to Atlanta yesterday for a ketogenics conference, or ketogenic diet conference from Metagenics all day yesterday. And next week, actually, we're going to be talking about various diets: a ketogenic diet, paleo diet, Mediterranean.
Oh, I love Mediterranean.
Well, that's my favorite.
I think it's Mediterranean.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about diets next week. And if y'all have questions, you guys can pop those up as well. But this Friday, I have the CBD Lunch and Learn. Oh my goodness. Wow. I don't know how many people we're going to be able to fit in there, but I'm going to be talking about this book right here, which is fantastic, and CBD oil, which, oh my goodness, has rocked my world. This is the best book I've ever read on CBD. Wow. I mean, it is easy and it is great. And I'm going to be talking about the science behind it. This is Friday at 11 o'clock. That's a big deal. Also, I don't know if Dr. Ken Berry's on here. Ken, if you're on tonight, hit your button. Dr. Ken Berry reached out to me, and he and I are going to do a thyroid live together.
Really?
He's down in Pulaski.
Okay.
Pulaski, I think he is. Follow him on Instagram, Dr. Ken Berry. We're going to hopefully do that this week. We're going to talk about Hashimoto's and hypothyroid together. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Listen, both of us were nominated for our field for a Sizzle Award. Oh, you're on there. Did you not know? Oh, yeah, I voted for you. I voted for you.
Oh, really?
Chris Motley Chiropractic and Dani, or Integrative Family Medicine, were nominated as the best in our field for a Sizzle Award in Williamson County.
Wow,
but you have to vote for us to win. Franklin, www.franklinis.com. And you have to click vote and you have to click finished. I learned that. You have to click 2 buttons if you want to win. I am nominated for the first time ever, and it's in the best family practice section. Yours is easy under chiropractor. I'm under family practice and physician, which is really not, they need a functional medicine arm, but they don't have it. So, it'll be a miracle, but I sure am thrilled to be in there, to be on there.
Awesome.
So there's a ton of chiropractors. So you go vote, franklinis.com, Sizzle Awards, Integrative Family Medicine. Chris Motley Chiropractic says, you didn't even know you were nominated?
No, I didn't know. I voted
for you yesterday.
Oh, I'm going to vote for you.
Yes, you better get on there and vote.
I will do it. Oh.
I mean, it'd be exciting. Yoni steaming starts up very soon next week. I mean, I am so excited. We did our first steam this week, so you guys keep watching for that. We're going to be steaming and cleaning upstairs. While You Wait classes also start next week, so that's good.
Week?
Yeah.
How many people are going to come to that?
I don't know.
There are going to be so many
excited
people.
about that. Yeah, we are loaded.
Fantastic.
Those of you that live in Franklin, come to the office. We have got so many new supplements and fish oil, all kinds of new things from the Integrative Healthcare Symposium. So y'all can walk in. You can come see our new space and everything. I'm really excited. It's exciting time right now.
Times.
But Friday at 11 o'clock is the CBD Lunch and Learn. I'm thinking you need to bring a chair and dress warm because we've got 170 something people interested. Well, I can't fit over 25 people in that room. So we may have the whole backyard.
You need to go get you a high voice I got, guys. Okay. She needs to go get a really bigger spot.
I am so excited about this, though. I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about the science behind CBD.
I need to look at that.
Can you be there Friday?
I think I can be there
11
Friday.
o'clock.
I would love to show up and we can talk and just see what you got to say.
I got some stuff to say about this. So what's going on with you this week?
This weekend I was boring Dr. Motley, but this week we are converting some stuff in the hallway in the office like you did, revamping some stuff and trying to get more media out as well. Like I'm trying to, Dani does some things about, she does a ton of stuff where she's at the office saying things and such. I try to get
things. I say a lot. I have a lot of
good
words.
supplements and good things. Like I like to tell the experiences that I have that may be an encouragement to people, and I'm trying to get that set up as well. Just got back from Dallas, going to. Goodness, there's another conference going on, but I can't remember.
I've got a conference going on. Interrupting you. Guess where I'm going, people?
Where?
Hit your buttons if you're excited about this. Next month, in 3 weeks, I'm going to be in New Orleans for a SIBO conference.
No.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth on low-dose naltrexone, using low-dose naltrexone with SIBO. It's the LDN conference. Dr. The big dog, Dr. Cybecker, who is like the leader in SIBO research. Mm-hmm. She's a keynote speaker. So it's one of my best friends from home. It's Trisha's birthday, and we're going down to New Orleans. Wow. She's going to do whatever during the day, and I am going to learn all about SIBO and low-dose naltrexone. I am so excited.
So, okay, the only thing, I have nothing compared to that. I would say the only thing I could ask you guys out there to help me out, because Dani is so good at like social media and doing stuff, but I would suggest, I'm trying to get more info. If you guys ever want to hear any type of info from me, like if I'm at the office, what I like to do is if I see a condition with a patient that's similar to something you guys have, you guys could like send me a message like on Instagram or on Dr. Motley or on Facebook and ask me a question like what you'd like, at the end of a week, if I can do a short video, like a 30-second video about it, because sometimes we both have so many different stories.
Yeah, we do.
So many different experiences.
You could write a book.
You don't remember everything. And Keith, my buddy Keith out there talking about Jesus, like we all have so many different experiences, and it would help us to see, like, send us some things so that I could tell Dani and we can say, hey, let's give a good shout out about this thing, okay? Because
we can do that.
We get so in our week, like I know, like I'll text Dani sometimes, and I know if she's had a long week just by the way she's talked, because it's so many things at so many times, like
we open the doors. I don't take this for granted ever. You open the door and it doesn't stop. We get there at 6:30.
Yeah,
Stephanie and I get there at 6:30. The lab opens at 7. I start at 6:45 or 7. And it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. I mean, the phone doesn't stop. People are sick. It's overwhelming.
It is.
And it's tough. And we have to learn to take better care of ourselves.
We do.
Right?
We got to keep our thyroids in check, because that's what happens. Remember, thyroid. I can go. We can keep.
Yeah, we can go. We don't want to, because it's been 50. We've had a great week. We've had a good week. I hope next week is great for you guys. Yep, it's St. Patrick's Day, and it's my friend Kelly Shannon. It's her favorite holiday, so I know, I love it. So happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you learned a lot about Epstein Barr tonight, because I did. As I was researching this, I learned a ton about it, and we'll share the protocols up there for you. But hopefully we'll see you this week, and I hope that Chris can come to the CBD Lunch and Learn on Friday, and that would be a ton of fun, and we could get to meet a bunch of you as well.
Totally, and we'll sit up here and we'll answer some questions when we get done here.
Well, we'll sit here and do that. You guys have a great Sunday night, and thank you for spending your Sunday night with us.
Very much so.
We love it.
We love it.
We do. We have a ball.
I
mean, I'm out in public and people say, oh my gosh, you guys have the greatest time. So happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you guys next Sunday night, 7 o'clock. And you can watch these videos over and over and over, and you can share them. So you can do that, and that's good. But we'll be talking about what should you eat?
Yeah.
What kind of diet should you eat? Paleo, Mediterranean, ketogenic. What should you be eating?
Definitely.
I'm excited about that.
I think it's exciting because there's going to be not there's bad things about it, but certain people may have great experiences. Some people may not get that much of experience, but we'll go over those things and why they do, or why they do or they don't. But
it's going to be fun.
We'll answer some of these questions.
We're going to right now.
Send us your questions when you can.
Go to bed early, eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, and have community. All right? And some wine. A little bit of wine never hurt either. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.